Today is Monday, the 1st of June, 2026. Dell just had the best day in its history, up 32.8%. The reason? Artificial intelligence booming, but the charts are flashing a warning signal. We break it down right after the global recap. Friday's closing data. In Asia, Japan's Nikkei fell 0.47% to 64,693. Hong Kong's Hang Seng dropped 1.27%. Shanghai edged up 0.12%. In Europe, markets fell across the board. Germany's DAX down 0.57%. France's CAC down 0.53%. London's FTSE down 0.83%. In the United States, the opposite story. A new all-time high across all three indexes. The S&P 500 gained 0.22% to 7,580. The Nasdaq added 0.20% to 26,972. The Dow gained 0.72% to 51,032. That was the ninth consecutive week of gains, the longest winning streak since 2023. The main driver? Dell. Three things driving markets today. First, Dell reported after the close on Thursday, the numbers were extraordinary. Artificial intelligence server revenue grew 757% in one quarter. That is not a typo. The company raised its full-year guidance and beat earnings estimates by the widest margin in at least 5 years. Second, the United States and Iran have reached what is being called a memorandum of understanding to reopen the Straits of Hormuz to commercial shipping. This is not yet confirmed, but if it holds, it means lower oil prices, lower inflation, and the possibility of interest rate cuts later this year. Third, Broadcom reports on Wednesday evening. Broadcom makes custom artificial intelligence chips for Google, Apple, and Meta. Given what Dell just told us about demand, this will be closely watched. Dell Technologies. This company makes the servers that house the artificial intelligence systems that companies around the world are building. Every time a company builds a new data center for artificial intelligence, they need Dell servers. The stock closed at $420.91 on Friday, a gain of 32.8% in a single session. That is the biggest single-day gain in the company's history. Looking at the chart, all 5 moving averages are below the current price. The EMA 20 at $271 is the first level of support. Below that, the EMA 40 at $237, the MA 50 at $215, the MA 150 at $160, and the MA 200 at $154, all 5 pointing upward. That is a strong uptrend. Now here is what every investor watching needs to hear. The RSI is at 89.38. That is not just overbought territory, that is extremely overbought. To put that in context, above 70 is overbought, above 80 is rarely seen. At 89, the stock has moved so fast that the underlying demand is stretched to an extreme level. The Williams percent R is at minus 4.07. On a scale from 0 to minus 100, that means it is almost at 0, the maximum stretch. Both indicators are flashing the same signal at the same time. The MACD tells a different story. The MACD line is at 35.9, the signal is at 22.91, and the histogram is positive at 12.98. The trend and the momentum are real. The artificial intelligence server demand that drove these results is real, but the price has moved very far, very fast. The lesson here is this. A great company with great results can still be a poor entry point at a specific moment. Dell is a good company. The numbers are real. But an RSI at 89 means the risk of a short-term pullback or correction is high. The smarter approach is to wait for the price to come back to the EMA 20 at $271. That is the level to watch. If it pulls back there and holds, that is a much better entry than chasing at $420. 3 things to watch this week. 1. Dell at $420, RSI at 89. The artificial intelligence story is real, but the prices move too fast. Watch for a pullback to the EMA 20 at $271. 2. The Iran deal. If the Straits of Hormuz reopen, oil prices fall, inflation falls, and the Federal Reserve may be able to cut rates. That is the single biggest macro event this year. Watch for official confirmation. 3. Broadcom on Wednesday evening. They make custom artificial intelligence chips for the biggest companies in the world. After what Dell has just shown us, the expectations will be very high. That is your Global Market Daily for Monday, 1st of June. Subscribe for a Tuesday's update, published every morning at 7 a.m. Eastern. Have a great week.